you didn't agree with the decision?
No, I certainly didn't. I didn't see how one judge could only didn't give him a round from round 6 onwards, and the other 2 gave him 1 round each. I don't know what fight they were watching.
Do you know what? It's boxing, and it happens, and there's no doubt in my mind I won the fight, and that's it. We can't cry over it.
And I thought Tyson would be better, and he was better. He was better. Give him credit for that.
With Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk's rematch coming to an end, the boxing world has raised concerns about this bout being rigged and a blatant robbery. Eddie Hearn, who is renowned for his direct approach towards such sensitive subject matters, stated that according to him, the fight results were quite biased and inauthentic, and that the fight was much closer and more complicated than people believed it to be. Explaining his views on what went on, Eddie stated that even though the earlier rounds were supposedly in Usyk's favor, the later ones, especially all those after the 9th round, were very much in Tyson's favor, and he should have at least won those rounds, or should have at least given a draw for this fight.
I thought it was a draw. I thought it was very difficult to split them. I thought it was a draw. You know, I look at the reaction, and most people have. Excuse me, guys. Most people have Usyk winning the fight, I guess.
Eddie also talked about the overall fight, stating that, despite being quite grand and spectacular, it did not reach the high expectations that many predicted it might fulfill, because this time around the fight was a bit more technical, like a chess match where both fighters were more concerned about dropping their opponent than to make the fight more entertaining for the spectators and the loyal fans at home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. You tell me. I'm thinking that most people thought Usyk won the fight. Is the reaction I see? Yeah. But I found it very difficult to split them. I thought both men were fantastic. It wasn't an enthralling fight this time, but it was a very technical fight, smart fight by both.
Meanwhile, Tyson Fury, who entered the ring as the challenger this time, had vowed countless times before the event that he would persevere this time based on his tremendous improvement and immaculate game plan. However, unfortunately, the revered Gypsy King had to face the same brutal fate. Sharing his frustration at what transpired on 21st December, Fury adamantly stated that despite the obviously biased unanimous decision in favor of Usyk, he won many rounds in the middle that were not counted in.
Do you think I've done that truthfully?
I thought it was dead tight. I thought you were going to get it, if I'm honest.
I swear to God, I thought I won it by at least 3 rounds. I bossed the fight in front foot all night. I worked, but no. Do you know what? It's boxing, and it happens, and there's no doubt in my mind I won the fight, and that's it. We can't cry over it.
Appearing almost defeated at this unfortunate loss, Tyson stated that even though they tried everything in their power to make the fight as fair as they could have, the same thing happened here once again, and Usyk was given the victory in the form of a gift, even though he did not really deserve it. Allegedly choosing to let this matter go, Tyson commented on how after the result, there is nothing he or his team can do, so they are not going to lament over it because it won't alter anything.
I think he got a little Christmas gift from them judges. Christmas gift early.
Young man, good.
And at home in Britain, everybody's calling it a massive robbery. So
what can you do? You get paid, you get laid, that's it. You go home. And I've done that many, many times, and we're on for a nice Christmas. I don't know, you know, the fight's done now. It's in the past. I've not got a decision. It is what it is. We move on, and that's it. I go home to my family. I've not seen my kids for 12 weeks. It is what it is. You can't change no decisions. I've done the best I could. If I could have done any more, I would have done, and that's it.
However, despite appearing to be done with the fight altogether, Tyson did not shy away from throwing some choice insults at the 4th judge of the fight, whose involvement was announced just a few days back by the Saudi government, in an attempt to make the fight even more interesting and fair. According to the statement that was issued by the head official of the Riyadh events, Turki Al-Sheikh, this new AI technology was introduced in the game for the sake of revolution and to put an end to the incessant debates about the results. Turki stated, "For the first time ever, an AI-powered judge will monitor the fight, free from bias and human error, brought to you by the ring. This groundbreaking experiment, which won't impact the official results, debuts during the biggest fight of the century." But regardless of these efforts put in by His Excellency and his team members, it looks as if it might have done the opposite job, because according to many people, including Fury, the decision was biased and a blatant robbery even after the involvement of the said AI entity. Expressing his emotions, Tyson blasted the use of this technology, stating that there is no benefit to it, and it offers nothing new to the sport, so it is better to just stick to regular old judges. Tyson stated, "Well, by the review of that, absolutely shit. Here's one. All the computers. Keep the humans going, more jobs for humans, and fewer jobs for computers. And talk electric cars too, while we're at it. On the topic of how he felt in the fight, Tyson reiterated the same statement from last time, commenting that Usyk is not a very challenging opponent as many make him out to be, because even though he did land some pretty good shots at him, he failed in hurting him no matter how hard he tried. While debunking the claims about him being the most vicious opponent that he has faced till now, Tyson emphasized that regardless of this loss, he knows deep down that Usyk is not that menacing of an adversary.
Not really, to be fair. In that fight there, never hurt me once. I've got a couple of flesh wounds, they'll be gone in 2-3 days. But yeah, not a mark on me roll on, but listen, it is what it is. I know what's happened, and that's it. I'll go home, and that's it. There's not much I can say. Not much I can say or do, to be fair.
However, despite all the resentments and agitation that Tyson might have felt due to this fight not going in his favor, the Gypsy King made sure to appear grateful in front of his fans, who had not only supported him throughout the strenuous fight camp, but also came to Riyadh to show their undying and relentless support for their national champion.
Pull it tight, pull it tight, pull it tight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
See you guys, have a great Christmas.
Let
the old man get a picture. Come on, get him in, get him in. Cheers, Ian. Cheers, guys, thanks. God bless you, guys.
Tyson.
Meanwhile, sharing the same thoughts as his gutted fighter, promoter Frank Warren also appeared frazzled at the decision, emphasizing that in his mind, or anyone's who is adept in terms of boxing and its elaborate rules knows that Fury won the fight, or even at least won a couple of rounds, so giving a unanimous decision is nothing but disrespectful and a clear robbery. Adding to his analysis, Frank stated that Tyson's performance in the latter rounds, especially after the 6th round, was extraordinary, and he made sure that he maintained a steady pace throughout the end, which further goes on to show how bad and unfair this whole fight was from the very start to the end.
Reaction? Obviously, you didn't agree with the decision.
No, I certainly didn't. I didn't see how one judge could only didn't give him a round from round 6 onwards, and the other 2 gave him 1 round each. I don't know what fight they were watching. I thought Tyson won it.
But it was the same score, but reversed.
Couple of rounds, at least.
Especially criticizing one judge in particular, who did not even give Tyson a single round throughout the fight, Frank stated that in terms on boxing rules and regulations, this kind of decision-making is not only unprofessional, but it is also unrealistic, because after the wonderful performance Tyson gave in the second half of the fight, to not even give him a single round is atrocious and a disgrace to the sport of boxing.
I'm dumbfounded. They gave him 4 rounds out of 12 rounds, which is impossible. I mean, I've been around a long time, and I know I'm biased, but one judge didn't give him any round from round 6 onwards. Not 1 round, look. How can that be? That's impossible.
The one judge gave Usyk the last 7 rounds. He didn't give Tyson 1 round, and the other 2 judges of the last 7 rounds gave him a round each. Each gave him 1 round. I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I'm biased, I know, because I'm in Tyson's camp, but how on earth can anybody say he never won 1 round out of the last 7?
Just like Frank and Tyson, Eddie also sarcastically shared his take on the vexed AI judge, stating that these sorts of ventures should not be taken in a sport like boxing, because even though there are announcements and reassurances that the entity is unbiased and will give a fair decision, no one really knows about what goes on behind the scenes, which make the entire concept fall flat. And that is exactly what happened in this case, because after looking at the fight, no one would have thought that Tyson will be given such a harsh verdict, despite giving an excellent performance in the later rounds.
The AI judge had it 118, 110.
Get rid of the AI judge. Yeah. The AI judge don't work.
Did you
but the only thing I will say is, come this way. The only thing I will say is 3 judges scored it the same, and I like it when that happens. You know, because sometimes we see a lot of variation in the scorecard. So for me, I thought there were so many close rounds. I thought it was really difficult to split.
While talking about the future prospects for both the fighters, Eddie stated that regardless of the disappointment that he and his team feel due to Tyson's loss, they are still open to orchestrating the Battle of Britain between him and Anthony Joshua earlier next year by the help of His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Now, although Eddie seems quite adamant about his decision to make this fight for his boxer, there is still a matter of whether Tyson will accept it or not, because after looking at the pre-fight interviews that he has given, the fighter has continuously said that he will only be looking for a fight with Usyk and no one else. But after this humbling second defeat, many experts and fans believe that it is high time that Tyson bids farewell to the game.
Only one fight for Fury, which is AJ, and I don't think it's time to go on about it tonight. He's going to be hurting from that defeat, and he's a great fighter, but for me, it's the only fight to make. But let's be honest, that's the only fight to make. It's the biggest fight in British boxing, one of the biggest fights in the world. Give them their day out, maybe do two, one at Wembley, one here. And then maybe that's the end for him, but we'll see.
Being a part of the sport for a very long time and having observed all sorts of bouts throughout his career as an announcer, Michael Buffer also thinks that the scoring of this fight was not up to par, because after witnessing the complete 12 rounds, there is no way that the final decision was so dominant in favor of Usyk. Michael also stated that the decision lacked a certain variation based on how the fight was much more variable and closer than people might think, because during the second half, both fighters were looking for an opening and gave everything that they had.
They all had the same score. There were some variances on different rounds, but I thought it was a closer fight. I mean, it might even have gone either way, but what can I say?
Talking about the performance of the fighters this time around, Michael highlighted the fact that even though Tyson was much better this time around, based on how he not only gained more weight in hopes of intimidating Usyk, but also made sure to harness his skills properly this time without fooling around. He could have given more in the earlier rounds and could have used his notorious jab in a much more efficient way than he did, because at a certain point, he looked as he might be getting tired by the vicious attacks from Usyk, who is a beast aware of his skills to lure out his opponents in the middle of the ring before he starts his onslaught.
I thought he was more active with his jab, and he probably, in hindsight, he probably should have tried a little more of he has a good one too, one pop up, and he used his size and reach and everything. Usyk is like a machine, though. He's just got a big battery that never stops.
With many experts and analysts presenting their views about this highly anticipated bout, the public has also shared their takes on the controversial decision and the revolutionary involvement of the AI judge. Tyson fans who have been supportive of the British fighter since his start in the professional arena think that this fight robs him of a much-needed comeback that he deserved after the last couple of fights, and goes on to show that, despite the claims of boxing being a fair sport now, there is still some roots of politics and heinous favoritism involved. On the other hand, about the AI judge, the community seems to be quite polarized, where many think that this new move taken by the Saudi government will take the sport to new heights and will help it to progress further, while others think that this is nothing but nonsense, and a way to justify the mistakes that are made by the officials along the way, because no one really knows the real mechanics that went behind this technology and the impact that it might have on the overall integrity of boxing. Addressing these comments and the hostile skepticism from the majority of the British fans, Usyk refrained from giving any clear statement on the AI judge, but still shared his thoughts on the result, stating that no matter how many people rally against him, stating that he did not deserve this win and that he was only given the decision based on the favoritism of the judges, he and his team know that they are the real winners in the end. And all those who are making these rumors, especially Frank Warren, are nothing but delusional.
Yeah, Uncle Frank, I think, blind. If Tyson says it's Christmas gift, okay. Thank you, God. Not Tyson. Thank you, God. Thank you, my coach, Yuri. Thank you, my coach, Kuba. Thank you, my team. Frank, crazy man, I think. That's my opinion. Okay, no problem. I win.
However, choosing not to escalate the situation by making crude remarks of his own, Usyk emphasized that after sharing the ring with the Gypsy King this second time around, he has a newfound likeness for him and has developed a certain respect for him as a fighter, because even after the loss way back in May, Tyson came back prepared and makes sure that he gave his best without any excuses.
This is my best friend. Yeah. Listen, I very respect this guy because I think it's very tough my opponent. Tyson Fury make me...
Teddy Atlas, who has also been quite a renowned and respected figure in boxing for the last couple of decades, has a rather distinct opinion about the fight and its outcome. According to Teddy, even though Tyson was much better this time around due to the countless hours he spent laboring away at the fight camp, Usyk is a fighter who cannot be taken down as easily because no matter what, the Ukrainian Devil always finds a way to outmaneuver his opponent while making sure that he wins every single time, no matter what is thrown his way.
I got plenty of them wrong, but you know, that one I felt very strongly about, just like the first time. Usyk knows how to win. He'll find a way to win.
Teddy also stated that although many people think that the later rounds were in favor of Fury, anyone who has adept knowledge of boxing and is aware of the aspects kept in mind when judging these fights knows that Usyk would be the winner because no matter what, he made sure to land more shots and to maintain his composure, which, as compared to Fury, was a much better job.
He finds a way to win. And I turned to my son. He lost the 5th round, Usyk, and it was a big round for Fury. I turned to my son and I said, watch what the guy who knows how to win, watch what he does the next round. My son was like, Dad, what? Just watch what he does in the 6th round. Mr. Winner is going to come right out and show you. When you're throwing 1 and 2 like Fury was, and the other guy's throwing 5 and 6, guess what? Even Teddy Atlas knows that. I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I know that 5 and 6 beats 1 and 2.
According to Teddy, the main turning point of the fight was the 6th round, because before it, both fighters maintained a steady pace and made sure to properly analyze their opponents. Usyk did better and knew that he had to accelerate the fight, otherwise Tyson might get momentum in the later rounds. Being someone who closely observes the fighters and their fighting styles, Teddy also pointed out how to make sure that Tyson loses his footing in those rounds. Usyk played the clever game of luring him out of his comfort space and tiring him out, making it hard for Tyson to properly utilize his huge size.
The whole turning point was after the 5th. It was the 6th round. He did what winners do. He said, a winner never lets you get momentum, does he? No. A winner's not going to let you run rounds on him, is he? No, because he wouldn't be a winner. Right away, he knew. He said, I can't let him win another round. He'll get momentum. He'll get control of the fight. He goes out there the 6th round and he puts his flag in the ground. And you know what the flag said? Winner. Winner. I know how to win. And that's what he does.
Labeling the winner as the greatest heavyweight fighter of this generation, Teddy stated that though Usyk might not be as wonderful as the previous greats of the sport in terms of being a master of a single trait, he has something that no one else really had, which is his immaculate mental prowess and control, which allows him to get out of any situation no matter how bad that might be. And this paired up with his extensive amateur career is only better.
He's one of the great winners of our era. And you know, the funny thing about him, there's not one thing that you could say, oh my God, he does such so great. He's the greatest puncher. He's fast like Ali. His legs are like, no. But there's not one thing he doesn't do real well. He does everything real well. There's not one weakness. And the most important thing at the end of the day, the strongest part of him all, this.
Meanwhile, with all these thoughts and praises centered around the Ukrainian fighter, Teddy also commended the British fighter, stating that even though he and many people think that he could have done some more to secure victory this time around, his performance on Saturday night was a huge improvement as compared to the fight in May, where he appeared too jolly and relaxed, which led to his humiliating defeat.
I thought Tyson would be better, and he was better. He was better. Give him credit for that, because he kind of fought the game plan that I kind of suggested that he should. Instead of just moving around the ring and letting Usyk boil him down with the pressure like he did the first time, he set himself. He used the wingspan. He set himself where he made Usyk earn his way in. He wasn't getting pushed all over the ring.
So in the end, what are your thoughts on this fight and its rather controversial result? Do you think that the decision that was given by the judges was a robbery and unfair to Tyson, or do you think that the fight was just and the decision was completely deserved? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to our channel.